So you need some medium weight 4 yarn and then a 5.25 millimeter hook. Okay, so I'm gonna start by making my granny square. So I'm going to do a magic circle. And for this project, you need 4 granny squares. Okay, so I have my magic circle and I'm going to chain up 3 and then insert. The chain up 3 does count as 1 double crochet, so in this circle I'm going to insert 2 more double crochets. All right, so I have 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to chain 2, and in this same circle insert 3 more double crochets. We're going to do that for a total of 4 times, including this cluster here. So this is the first one, and now we're doing that 3 more times. So I'm going to insert 3 double crochets, and then chain 2, and then again 3 more double crochets, chain 2, and then the last cluster 3 more double crochets, 2 and 3. All right, so I have 4 clusters of 3 double crochets with chain 2s in between. So now I'm going to pull my tail to close my ring, just to pull it tight. And now we are going to complete the square by chaining 2 and then slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 from the beginning. All right, so now we are complete with round 1. Okay, so for round 2, I am going to slip stitch over it so I can reach this corner space here. So right now I'm in this space right here, so I'm going to slip stitch here into the next double crochet and then into this space as well. So just to kind of move my hook over without cutting off, because I am using ombre yarn, so I'm not changing my color. Okay, so now I am working from this corner space here. So in this corner space, I'm going to chain up 3, and that counts as your first double crochet. And in the same space, I'm going to insert 2 more. Okay, so I have 3 double crochets into that first space. Now I'm going to go into my next space and work a corner. So in between clusters, I do not chain 1 in between. So I'm just going to go right into that next space with 3 double crochets. And I know there are plenty of different ways to make a granny square. This is just the way that I do mine. I don't really like the chain 1 in between. Okay, so now that I have my 3 double crochets, remembering that this is a corner space, so to do a corner, I'm going to chain up 2, and then in that same space, insert 3 more double crochets. Now, if you already know how to make a granny square, you can by all means fast forward and skip this part. If you don't need to learn, you can just go forward and start from where I started assembling the squares. All right, so I have my corner space here, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets. So now I'm going to do the same thing that I did here in this next space. Remembering we're not chaining 1 in between, so I'm going right into that next space with my 3 double crochets. Okay, then chain 2, and then in the same space, 3 more double crochets. All right, now in the next corner, we're doing the same thing, repeating that. 3 double crochets, and then chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. I will say, if you feel like you have a tighter tension, maybe it is best for you to chain 1 in between clusters, just so it can lay a little bit flatter. All right, so remember at the beginning we started with 3 double crochets into that corner space, and then we continue on. So now this is still a corner, so in this space I'm going to insert 3 more double crochets. 3 more double crochets, and then I'm going to chain 2, but remember we already have our second set of 3 double crochets. So now with that chain 2, I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 to close the round. So that is the end of round 2. So this is what your square should be looking like so far. So from here, for round 3, I'm going to chain up 3. Remember that does count as a double crochet. And in this same space here, this corner space that we're already in, we're going to do another corner. We're going to do our 3 double crochets. So this is the second one, and then the third one. So I know some people will try to slip stitch over to the next available space, or cut and fasten off and then add their next color here. But me, because I'm not changing any colors and I don't really care to slip stitch over outside of that first round, so I just start from where I left off. So I have my 3 double crochets, and if it looks a little funny, that's fine. It doesn't matter. So now in this next space, it's not a corner space, it's just a standalone. So I'm just going to put 3 double crochets. Okay. So now in this next corner, we are going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, just like we did in the previous round. And I changed the angle of my camera because I needed to see what I was doing. Okay, so that was our corner. Now in this next space here, it's not a corner, so it's just 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochets in that same corner space. And then I'm going to continue that all the way around until I reach this point right here. Okay, so I am at the end here. I already went ahead and put in my 3 double crochets. And remember, we have the first set of 3 double crochets from the beginning. So I'm going to chain 2 and then slip stitch to the top of that chain 3 to close the round. And that is the end of round 3. So from here, you're just going to continue on this pattern until you have the desired amount of rows, or rounds I should say, for your square to complete your shorts. So I am going to continue this for a total of six rounds, and then I will meet you back. Remember to always chain 3 in the beginning, and that counts as your double crochet, and then you work into that same space. Okay, so I have completed my 4 granny squares, and I have them at 6 rounds each. So I'm going to measure for you guys just to show you. So with 6 rounds, there we go. With 6 rounds, you get about 8 inches, maybe 8.5 a little bit if you're counting that, once it's like actually stretched out and all that. Yeah, so you get about 8 inches. And for my measurements, I measured my hip size, and my hip size I believe was a 37. Was it 37 inches? So when you divide that by 4, it's about 9.2. So I decided that I was going to do 6 rounds, which will give me about 8 inches. But when I connect my squares, I am using the join as you go method. So essentially it's going to give me one more row. So that should give me at least to 9 inches. Or maybe like 9.5. So that is why I decided to only do 6 rounds. So that is how you would measure out your squares. You would take the measurements of your hip measurements and then divide that by 4, and then whatever that number is, that's the size of each square that you would want to go for. Okay, so now let's get into joining the squares using the join as you go method. Okay, so to start the join as you go method, you are going to attach your yarn, whatever your yarn you're using for your border color. So you're just going to insert your hook into any corner, it doesn't matter. Just insert your hook into any corner. I'm going to slip stitch to connect it. Okay, so now that my yarn is connected, I'm going to chain up 3. And that counts as a double crochet, and in this corner I'm going to insert 2 more double crochets for a total of 3. Okay, and then I am going to continue on as if I were doing another round of my granny square, but you're going to continue that until you reach this corner here. So you're going to go up, across, and down, and you're going to leave the last side open. Okay, so I have completed 3 sides of the granny square stitch. So in this last stitch I did 3 double crochets, and now we are going to join our next square. So I'm going to chain up 2. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my next square, and I'm going to insert 1 double crochet into this corner space here. So I'm going to yarn over and then go right into this corner, pull up my loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 again. Okay, so now they are connected. So in this same corner I'm going to insert 2 more for a total of 3 double crochets. Okay, so I have my 3 here. So now I'm going to pivot my work, align my squares so they're side by side, like this. Because now we are going to start joining our squares in a zigzag motion until we reach this corner here, and they'll be connected. Okay, so from this part right here, we have our 3 double crochets into the corner. So now we are going to go over to our right side in that space here, and we're going to insert a slip stitch. So I'm going to slip stitch into this space here. Okay, so now it's connected. I know it can be a little bit confusing. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. All right, so now we have our slip stitch on the right. In this next space here on our left square, I'm going to insert 3 double crochets. Double crochets. Now on the right side in that next space, slip stitch. Okay, now in this next space again, 3 double crochets. So you're just going to go back and forth, like I said, in that zigzag motion. So it's 3 double crochets on the left side and then slip stitch to the right. Okay, so now in this next space, slip stitch. Okay, so this, remember this is a corner, so I'm going to chain up 2 and insert 3 double crochets again in that same space. Now I'm going to turn my work and continue down, but remember we're not crocheting in this bottom yet. Well, once we get to this point then we will be, but look, I'll show you once we get there. Okay, so now we're at our corner here. So now we're just going to continue on with our granny stitch all the way across. So I'm going to chain up 2, and in that same space insert my 3 double crochets. Okay. Okay, so I am at the end here with my last 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. Okay, and then I'm just gonna chain 1 and leave that there for right now. So this is what your squares should be looking like. It's 2 of them connected. 2 of them connected. So for each pant leg of the shorts, you're gonna need 2 squares, because essentially it's gonna fold like this, and this will be one pant leg of the shorts. So real quick, I just want to measure this for you so you guys can see what I was talking about when I said the join as you go method does add another row. And remember, before with just the 6 rounds, it was at about 8 inches, and I needed about 9. I needed 9.2 for my measurements. So I'll show you what the measurements are now that we've added it. So from that orange here, this is where we're at, like a 9.5. So that's perfect. So keep that in mind when you're doing your measurements. You are going to be adding one more row when you join them. So this fits perfectly for me. So you're going to do the same thing that we just did with your other 2 squares that you have left, and then I'll be back to show you how we continue the shorts. Okay, so to connect your first pant leg, you are going to fold them together right sides facing each other, because we're working on a seam right now, and then when we turn it inside out it won't be showing. So you're just going to line up your clusters. So right now this is the corner here, and you're just going to line up your clusters, and I just like to go into that space, and then I'm going to insert it into the corner of this space here. And then I'm just gonna slip stitch so I can start working. All right, I'm gonna chain up 1. So from here, I'm just going to single crochet all the way across, connecting them two, but I'm going to leave this corner open. So I'm going to single crochet up until this point right here, if you can see that. So we're just not gonna continue with this corner here. So all the way up until this part right here. Just single crocheting in both loops all the way across. Okay, so now I have completed both squares, and I'm gonna turn it inside out, or right side out, I should say. Okay, and this is what it looks like. So this is what the seam edge would look like once you turn it right side out. Okay, so now to put the two squares together, you are going to put right, so we have one that's right side out and then the other one is wrong side out, so the seam is still showing. So you're going to put the one that's right side out into the one that's wrong side. So you're going to slide it in there like so, and then you're gonna line up. Remember, we didn't attach that last corner, so you're gonna line this part up with the other pant leg like that, if you see what I'm saying. So you just line that up and then, you know, even it out a little bit. So that it's easier for you. And then from here, you're gonna insert your hook into a corner in both sides, okay? Slip stitch to connect it. Now from here, you're just gonna single crochet all the way across. Now this part doesn't have to be perfect, but just try your best. So I'm just gonna single crochet in both loops all the way up. Okay, so we're just gonna do for this U shape here. I just wanted to show you the measurements of where we're at on this. So for this, it's about, what is that, 19, or about 18.5, close to 19. So that is our measurements of the front half. So if you times that by 2, you would get your hip measurement, which in my case was 37. So this is working out perfectly. So now I'm gonna start with, I have my yarn on my hook here. Okay, so once you've made your way all the way back around and you've inserted your last cluster, you're just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and then you're going to continue this for a total of 4 rounds. That's the amount of rounds that I chose to do. So to start your next one, you're just going to chain up 3 for your next round, and then in that same space here, I'm going to insert 2 more double crochets for a total of 3. Okay, and then I'm going to continue on putting 3 double crochets in each space all the way around. And once I get back here, I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this chain 3 here. Okay, and then continue on doing my rounds until I have the amount of rounds that I need to do. So I will be back once I've completed my rounds. Okay, so I ended up doing 5 rounds. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I ended up doing 5 for my shorts. And now from here, I am going to do single crochet decrease to kind of cinch in my shorts a little bit. So that is the next round. So I'm going to chain up one where I left off, and now I'm going to go around the entire base of the shorts with a single crochet decrease. So I'm going to go into this first space here, pull up a loop, and then go into the next space, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all three. So that, let me show you again, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all three. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way around. Because you'll see once you're finished with your rounds, the shorts do look kind of big. So this is just bringing in that waist part. So continue going all the way around with single crochet decrease. All right, so once you have that slip stitch, you're going to chain up three, and then in each stitch, you're going to insert one double crochet all the way around. And I'm going to do that for a total of 3 rounds of double crochets. Once you get to the end or back to the beginning, you're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, and then you're going to chain 3 again and continue on for your second round of double crochets. All right, so I have completed my 3 rounds of double crochets. So this is what the shorts are looking like so far. This is what your shorts should look like. If you're following me through, if you decided to change up a little bit, that's completely okay too. For the waistband, you don't have to do any double crochets if you don't want to. If you wanted to just go ahead and do rounds and rounds of single crochet, that works too. I actually did that. I'm going to show you on my blue pair that I made. I just did my single crochet decrease round, and then from here up I did 10 rounds of single crochet. So if you like this look better, you can do that, but for this tutorial I wasn't going to show that, so I just did my 3 double crochets like I did with the first pair that I made. I have a green pair that I did, and that's what I did. And also after the 3 double crochets, I did a couple rounds of single crochets, but I'm not going to do that for this round. I'm actually just going to do 1 round of front post, back post double crochets, and then we'll be done. Okay, so for our last round, we are going to chain up 3, and I am going to do a round of front post, back post double crochet. So I am going to go into this chain up 3 space here, and I'm going to go behind it. I'm going to insert my hook behind the chain 3, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Oh, my yarn is tangled. Okay, so and then for the next one, I'm going to go that I'm just going to chain up, 200. If I can get my stuff together. Okay, so for the drawstring part, I am just going to chain up 200, and then I'm gonna weave it through and then we'll be done. So go ahead and do as many chains as you like for the length of your drawstring. And we are all done with our shorts. Now the drawstring is optional. If you don't want to do a drawstring, that's fine, you don't have to. You can change up things to your own liking. But I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comments if you need any clarification on anything else. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as I will be posting more consistently, more crotorials for you guys. I feel like these shorts are perfect for the summer, so yes, definitely make you a pair. And if you do, don't forget to tag me in your videos, pictures, because I do want to see. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.